Hey there, my name is Sarah Smith and I go to Bellevue University. I am going to be talking about forming social relationships with clients during and after counseling. Okay, so forming social relationships with clients during counseling is generally considered unethical in many professional guidelines, such as those from the American Psychological Association, APA, or the National Association of Social Workers, the NASW. The primary concern is maintaining professional boundaries to ensure the therapeutic relationship remains effective and unbiased. Crossing these boundaries can lead to conflicts of interest, loss of objectivity, and potential harm to clients. Personally speaking, I do not believe in forming social relationships with my clients. However, I do believe giving my clients my cell phone number so they can have, because I believe they have several benefits, but it must be approached with caution to maintain professional boundaries. After counseling has concluded, the situation becomes more nuanced. Some guidelines suggest a waiting period before any social relationships can be considered, while others advise it against it altogether. The key is to ensure that any relationship does not exploit the former client or undermine the therapeutic work that was done. This is a crucial aspect that must be upheld even after counseling has ended. According to Corey 2024, mental health professionals are not legally or ethically prohibited from entering into a non-sexual relationship with the client after the termination of therapy. However, forming friendships with former clients may pose difficulties for both the client and the therapist. For example, a former client might feel taken advantage of, which could result in a complaint against the therapist. Page 324. However, if a friendship is considered, it is important to evaluate factors such as the time elapsed since therapy ended, the nature of the previous therapeutic relationship, and whether the friendship could impact my former client's well-being. According to the ACA Code of Ethics, a minimum of 2 years should pass after counseling has ended before entering a social relationship with one's client, and both the counselor and the client must agree to the relationship without coercion. Ultimately, I must prioritize my former client's best interest and adhere to ethical standards. Cultural perspectives can influence these views. In some cultures, personal relationships and community ties are more integrated into professional roles, which might make strict boundaries seem less applicable. However, even in these contexts, the potential for harm and ethical concerns remain significant. In individualistic cultures, such as those found in the Western world, it is more common for therapists to maintain professional boundaries with clients even after counseling has ended. Social relationships with former clients may be viewed as unprofessional and can be even seen as a violation of ethic codes. In these cultures, therapists are expected to maintain a strict separation between their personal and professional lives. In contrast, in collectivistic cultures, such as those found in many Asian, African, and Latin American countries, forming social relationships with former clients may be viewed as acceptable and even expected. Nickerson, 2023. In these cultures, maintaining strong interpersonal relationships is highly valued, and social relationships between therapists and former clients may be seen as a way of maintaining these connections. Nickerson, 2023. Ultimately, the appropriateness of forming social relationships with clients during or after counseling depends on many factors, including the cultural context, the nature of the therapeutic relationship, and the personal preferences of both the therapist and the client. It is important for therapists to be aware of these factors and to carefully consider the potential consequences of forming social relationships with clients. Ethical codes and guidelines can provide guidance on these issues and should be consulted as needed. When faced with attraction to a client, it is crucial to address these feelings professionally. This might involve seeking supervision or consultation to ensure that the attraction does not interfere with the therapeutic process. It is important not to act on these feelings and to maintain professional boundaries. Similarly, if a client reveals an attraction toward a therapist, it is essential to handle the situation with sensitivity and professionalism. Acknowledging the client's feelings without encouraging them is a delicate balance that must be maintained. This approach validates the client's emotions while ensuring that the therapeutic relationship remains the focus. Maintaining a balance of empathy and professionalism and refocusing the conversation on the client's therapeutic goals are all crucial steps in ensuring maintenance of professional boundaries. According to Corey, 2024, it is our responsibility to recognize and deal with our feelings toward a client in a way that does not burden the client. As Fisher states, therapists have the responsibility to make sure that they take appropriate steps to manage their feelings both professionally and ethically. Page 327. Counselors need to engage in self-reflection and consider their motivations to ensure that they remain committed to the ethical principles of their profession. If the attraction becomes overwhelming or impacts the therapeutic relationship, the counselor may need to refer the client to another profession to maintain ethical standards and client welfare. The ACA 2014 code explicitly prohibits such relationships for a period of 5 years following the termination of services. The APA 2017 code specifies a moratorium of at least 2 years, and the AAMFT 2015 code prohibits sexual intimacy with former clients regardless of time elapsed. Corey, 2024, page 327. Even after this period, counselors must carefully evaluate the potential for harm and consider whether the relationship could still be exploitive or harmful due to the power dynamics that existed during therapy. It's essential for counselors to prioritize the former client's well-being and adhere to ethical standards. According to Corey, 2024, if the boundaries involved in the therapeutic relationship are identified in our informed consent document, situations such as this are likely to be less complicated. On the other hand, if a client feels a romantic attraction towards me and tells me about it, I would let them know that those feelings are normal and okay to feel. I would acknowledge their feelings without encouraging them and perhaps say something like, I appreciate your honesty in sharing your feelings. It's natural to develop feelings in therapeutic relationships, but it is important for us to focus on our goals in therapy. Suppose my client cannot manage their feelings of attraction towards me. In that case, I should seek supervision or consultation and keep a document of all the conversations we've had about the situation, as well as all the actions that I have taken. Same as if I have an attraction towards a client, I must follow the ACA Code of Ethics, which prohibits sexual or romantic relationship with current clients, and ensure that my actions align with the ethical principles such as beneficence, non-maleficence, and respect and autonomy. Overall, I do not believe in forming social relationships with current clients. However, after counseling has concluded, the possibility of forming a social relationship can be more acceptable, but it must be approached cautiously. If I found myself attracted to a client, I would prioritize professional ethics and seek supervision or consultation to manage my feelings appropriately. If a client reveals an attraction to me, I would acknowledge their feelings with empathy, but emphasize the importance of focusing on their therapeutic goals. All in all, maintaining professional boundaries and adhering to the ethic codes are essential to being an ethical and competent counselor. Thank you for your time.